family has a lot of meanings, I think. Family can be more than just your biological connection, but let's start with the biological connection. Your family, your biological family, is the people who bring you into the world, or who you bring into the world, or who you are connected to biologically. So there's all sorts of evolutionary reasons why those would be important bonds, but that is not enough. I happen to be very blessed that the people that I am biologically connected to are also the people that I feel a deep trust for, that I feel a deep support from, that I feel that I get unconditional love from those people. But I know many, many people, more and more I meet, who are creating their families, who are creating connections, bonds, networks through things beyond biology. I think one of the great gifts of this connected world that we live in now is that biology no longer needs to be the thing that creates families. Interests, ideas, connections in other ways becomes this very real connection. And then often those become physical connections or facilitate physical connections. And so you have family units that are based on, well, all sorts of things. Maybe it's your love of putting on a furry costume. And because of that shared experience, that shared understanding, you have a bond, you have a trust. Now the truth is, I think you can, ideally we open up and trust everyone. But that's very hard. To turn the other cheek and allow people to hit you in the side of the face a second time, that's a high, lofty goal, and I think should be reserved for those very far along the evolutionary path. Give it a try, but I think there's nothing wrong with establishing family walls where you establish, I'm going to surrender, I'm going to be vulnerable within the people that I call family. In the internet realm, I have a huge success story as far as how these digital connections, the connected world, can help create and help you find community or family that before would be impossible. In '96 or so, I became a part of a group of online publishers that were connected by their love of telling stories and sharing things and trying new technologies, and through that I was invited by someone that I knew hardly at all in person to participate in this event called Burning Man and participate in his camp called Fray Camp, which was a storytelling camp. And so I went from this digital family, joined a physical camp family, and through that camp family was introduced to this Burning Man family. And Burning Man is a city, but I think in many ways it functions as a family. I think that's one of the mind-blowing parts of it, and that's why gifting is so significant in it, is because gifting is rarely seen outside of a family. And the reason is because when you gift, you lay yourself open to be taken advantage of. And so often, but it sucks to be taken advantage of, so you often want to open up, gift in environments where you will not be taken advantage of. Now Burning Man, it creates this magical situation where the number of people that you can actually be vulnerable to and not be taken advantage of is tens of thousands. Notice I don't say 50,000, which is the total attendance. Even in this incredible place, there are people that know that in this loving, trusting environment, you can take advantage of it. And so you have to lock up your bike just in case, or you have to be careful about accepting drinks just in case. And that's unfortunate, but it also illustrates why there is a difference between just being totally open-hearted and defining your family, defining the people that you trust, that you will allow yourself to fully be open to. Years ago when I was at the Real House, after moving in, some of the people that were my roommates when I first moved in, I moved in some of my friends, and then there were some people there that already lived there. And so we had a first kind of party. And so friends of the people who already lived there showed up, and at some point in the night they got really aggressive and there was a fight. And this was like so outside my realm of what I would expect from people in my family. Because certainly a roommate situation is a type of family, a type of connection and trust. And during this party, as this fell apart, it became very clear to me that walls can be important. Good fences make good neighbors. Not so sure if that's the right metaphor, but definitely protecting the vibe is important. Creating safety is important. Creating an environment where you not have to worry about judgment, attack, violence in thought or action. These are critical things that a family allows you to do. Hopefully, your family is one that encourages, no matter what type of family it is, one that encourages giving people the benefit of the doubt. So you don't, push people down just in case they might, want to take your bike. I remember years ago I saw a dad dragging his kid across the street. And I don't know what happened before, but he said, "You see, that's why you screw them before they screw you." And that's kind of like the grossest, basest level of family. We'll protect one another against the world. And it creates this very separate, painful, I think, or it's a recipe for pain, to constantly be guarding yourself against everyone. And I think that in a lot of ways, the spiritual path is a process of opening up your family, or creating multiple families. And so that this safe place that you can live gets larger and larger and larger and larger. Maybe so large that if you do get taken advantage of, it actually doesn't even hurt you, because you have such a huge network of love and support that it's like a drop of oil in a massive sea. It can't taint it. It can't poison it. The reality is that HugNation is one of the most important families that I have. And many people in this family, perhaps you listening right now, I've never met. And yet I feel supported. I feel your love. I feel that the connection between us changes who I am, allows me to be more vulnerable and trusting and loving in the world. I believe that it's something that years ago would have been mocked, I think, but I think that family can be defined by belief and by love, I guess. And so I have my biological family that is so important to me. I have this digital family that is so important to me. I have this Burning Man family, the Pink Heart family that is so very important to me. And as I grow in my spiritual path, I think that family, there is a larger family, the human family, that I slowly but surely open up to, open up to, open up to. Now that family, without any sort of walls, without any sort of ground rules necessarily, can be scary. But there's something else that happens, I think, when you can extend your trust to the human family. And that's something that we see in the great leaders. Yesterday was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And something that I think you see in people like him is that a fierce dedication to compassion, even at the fate of vulnerability to those who would hurt you, as clearly he was killed by those that he welcomed into his extended family. That there is a power beyond life. There is a power beyond anything that we do in the physical realm when we become that dedicated to opening up our hearts to family. I mean, that is the power of a Jesus figure. That is the power of great men and women, saints, mystics through time, is that they break through that idea that family needs to be protected and open up hearts, spirits, and simply surrender to the human family, or the universal family. There is only one. And in that state, you cannot be hurt. even by losing your life, you cannot die. You are simply surrendered and powerful beyond measure. Danger Money says she had to leave a lot of people behind because their vibrations didn't resonate with the more positive direction I craved to go. And that is an excellent point. I'm very blessed that my family is so supportive and is such a great teacher and embracer of unconditional love. Many people do not have such luck. And so many people have to go through that same kind of purging process of even their biological family, people that do not create a circle of trust. And in that case, you really need to make the painful choice of saying, this is someone who I love in a family sense, but not someone who I can trust, not someone who I can surrender to, because their direction pulls me in a place that I don't want to go. Their actions affect my life in ways that divert me from what I know to be true and loving and in alignment. And I think maybe that is the definition of family, is the people who are on your raft floating in the direction that you're floating in the river. There was a time when I thought that I viewed myself on a raft in the river, and as I learn and I grow and I learn more about the world and meet more people like you, I realized that this raft is massive. And it's not just me paddling, trying to figure out what's going on or hoping the river. It's like we're all on this raft, all feeling, helping each other feel the flow, all inspiring each other to redirect and get back in alignment. And you're right, the people that, if they've jumped on your raft or they're there because they own the building you're in or you were born in the same house as them, and if they're on your raft, dragging their feet or holding an anchor or peeing on the deck, well, sometimes you have to make hard choices to defend the vibe by any means necessary. I got a lot of crap when I first said that about a party. Like, look, I believe in an invite list. I don't believe in open parties. I believe in defending the vibe by any means necessary. That's kind of a Malcolm X tribute if you're not big in civil rights history. But I think you need to be vigilant in any sort of positive direction that you're in, because you have to. It's kind of like that thing, if someone has fallen, reach down and offer them a hand, but if they pull you down, let go. And that can be really hard, and sometimes we're made to feel badly for that we need to suffer with other people. We need to, if they're eating shit, we need to eat shit, and that's a trap. We need to lead by example. We need to get up on the throne and offer our hands. Come get up on the throne with me. Join my family up here. I don't have to live down there because you're my family down there. My family is on a throne. My family lives in gratitude. My family lives in love. You are my family. And I am so very honored.
You only live once. Enjoy the color.